Yay.
Welcome to our podcast. So excited to have you all here. We are doing things live now. So you get to see all the mistakes, all the goodness, all in real time. So we thank you for joining us. We just got off our
Yes.
amazing community call. And this month we are all about chapter 2, which is looking at support systems and who's really got your
Mm-hmm.
back. So that's what we're going to get in today. Who's got your back?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so I'm gonna kick it off with you, Shy. We know what support systems are, right? It is, we in our book, we kind of describe it as kind of four things: emotional, informational, tangible, and esteem. These four types of support that we all need. And you could probably go into even more types that you might need as well, but those are the four that we really focus on in the book. And thinking about the
Yeah.
chapter or the community call we just got off of, what's something that really stood out for you that resonated with you in chapter 2? Especially now doing it
Oh
this
my
time
gosh.
versus when we did it this, a year or two ago when we were doing the podcast episode and writing the chapter.
Absolutely. So I think it's definitely like recognizing that we're in completely different seasons, um, compl- um, somewhat similar, but different circumstances, different, and then even just different people in our lives, right? Like, I think I was kind of talking about it earlier, like the frame of reference that I had when I was first, doing those check-in questions from the episode. It was literally coming off the fresh heels of the recent layoff, and then also freshly coming off the heels of being estranged from people in my life, family members and people in my life that just were no longer healthy for me to continue being around in the journey that I needed to embark on. And like realizing, oh my gosh, all these different ways that I was supporting people. But then when it came down to it, realizing like when it came to myself and whether, yeah, when it came to myself, realizing, oh my gosh, I really am out here by myself. you know, um, I really am out here by myself in more ways than one, and just really having to sit with that and to rebuild. And so then I think about like that point in time, and then I think about now where I'm like, yo, I've been doing my thug thizzle here because like I've been very intentional about the community that I build, and the types of people that I have in my life, to where I've gotten so much better about like not bringing in entities or energy. And if there is entities or energy that are like not the right type of energy for what I need, like knowing how to like nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
So that I could have more meaningful, uh, deep relationships, but also psychological safety. I feel like psychological safety is a very, very important part of support systems, right? So that's something that definitely did come up for me this time around, and looking at it. But what about for you?
Same, girl. I mean, so much has changed from the last time when we wrote this a year ago. The support that we were looking for, coming from different layoffs and different things going on in our lives, to now, I'm in a whole new transition part. I was in a loving relationship for 17 years, married for 11 of those 17 years, beautiful family. And we are now, going through this transition where we are separating. And so everything, my support was always that nuclear piece of home. He was my
Yeah,
home, my family,
yeah,
that was my nuclear. And then I had my family, I had my great friends, I've got you. And
yeah,
that now is all different. So I'm finding out, I'm creating a new sense of home. And right now, because that was my anchor, he was my anchor, he was home. Now I have to
yeah,
find that new anchor, which me, I am my home, my space, my friends. And so really redefining what support looks like, how I want to show up for people, how I'm able to show up for them, and then
Yeah.
also what kind of support do I actually need. And I'm actually asking for help where before I never did because I was like, I can do it, I've got it. And now I'm asking for help and letting people actually show up for me the way that I've been showing up for them for years. And again, it I'm not a crier, but sometimes the support that I've seen has made me really want to cry. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, people really do care. And I never gave people the opportunity to show me that because I was the
Yeah.
one always doing the doing and the giving, and I wasn't letting other people pour into me the same way. And so now I have no choice
Absolutely.
but to accept it, and I am just overwhelmed and really grateful. So excited to see what the rest of this year turns out.
I love that because you're also letting go of your, think about that as like maybe an emotional
Right.
support blanket of I got to do it by myself. Like, no, you can
Yes.
again dropping that
Dropping the
support
cake.
superwoman cape.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is like, oh, but what am I going to do without that? You're going to thrive. That's what
I'm
you're going to
gonna
do.
cry.
You're
Right.
going to
And I'm
thrive.
gonna
You're going to be open and you're going to allow the universe and you're going to allow people to be what you
yeah,
need them to be in a way that they couldn't be before because you were blocking that. So
that's so
I
true.
absolutely love that. I love that for you. And I think something that's also coming up for me here is like, so this is like on that like micro level, right? Of
Yeah.
what's directly happening in our lives, but also thinking about how this hits differently in
Mm.
the current moment, the geopolitical moment
Yes.
that we are
Yeah,
in right now,
it's
and
crazy. Mhm.
some of the things on why this chapter hits differently in July of 2026. Um I'll actually like I'll go first, and it's something that I kind of had shared in our call earlier, is like noticing that most people within my support system are offering whatever they can to varying degrees.
Yeah.
They do support in tangible ways, but that
Mhm.
tangible support I am realizing is incremental only because of systemic barriers and limitations to resources, access, energy, time, capacity, like all of that. And
Mhm.
that most of these women are operating in superwoman mode themselves, um, because I don't actually know many. I do know lots of different women, but I think in who I tend to be around most often, I don't know many women who aren't going through it right now. And since most of the women in my network that I closely associate with are Black women, the fact that we are the most under attack by this administration, I think like that's something that's like been coming up for me in this on like we're literally getting it like double time right now, to
Yeah.
where some people may see us posting about sports systems or all these things and they're thinking it may be toxic positivity or that we're not recognizing the reality. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We're all right now operating from this kind of this deficit of lack, right? We're all lacking something, whether it's financial, emotional, community, but we're operating from this point of deficit and lack. And that is, but we are still also trying to be in community and help
Yeah.
and be there for each other because so many things are under attack, right? So many services, grants, funding, things that used to be readily available to help businesses, to help women, to help just help people, period, are really those social services are being cut off. And so you have no choice but to turn to community and say, here's how we can help each other. But everybody is still operating from that deficit. And so they can only give so much. And even
Yeah.
though it's helping, it feels like it's too much and that you want to help, but you really can't because you don't got enough. And we were talking about earlier in our community call, you can't really pour from an empty cup. But a lot of us, because we're at a deficit, we are still pouring from that empty cup, right? Our boat is leaking, but we are still trying to help other people and put them in our boat and get them to shore, even though our
Ooh,
boat is leaking. It's leaking, and we all might sink, but we are trying. And that's where we are right now. And so it's like community and support. It is so important right now, but it's hard, and you're seeing it affect people differently, where some people have to step back and say, as much as I want to help, I can't right now because I physically, mentally, financially, I can't, right? Because
yeah.
I'm sinking and I can't do one more thing, right? So it is we need community, but it's a hard time right now for people, and
It
people
really
are
is.
still showing up. Mhm.
And you used a metaphor that actually I used when I was responding in the workbook on mapping your support network. So there, I mapped my support network and it was like, hey, were there any surprises? If so, what? And
Yeah,
so, like something I wrote, not so much as a surprise, but more a recognition that most of my connections are people in the same boat as me.
that part.
and
Yep.
And what we all could use for ourselves are better boats. Like, and I was
Yes.
thinking yacht, but it's like, that's a whole thing. We know who's got the yachts, right? But, it's, it's like, I was like, I don't know that I necessarily want a yacht just because, again, what we associate with,
Way
with that.
better. Yes.
But I said, I need, but yeah, we could use a better boats ourselves. But then
Yes.
I'm also really realizing I need to use my endeavors to broaden my sea though, so that I can upgrade.
Yes.
um, but this also brings up for me just how interlinked class and race are,
Mm.
as well as me gravitating towards people with similar journeys and mindsets. It's like, again, well, of course, if liberation is on your mind, of course, if you're going through these experiences and you need to be around people who are safe and who can relate, like chances are it's going to be people who are in the same boat. But like, are y'all sinking together
You on the
or?
struggle bus together, right? Or are you rising together? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we were doing that question in our community group, same, and it was the question about what type of support do you really need right now? And I was like, tangible, but I don't need tangible, like I don't need stuff because I've got stuff. I need people that can open the doors. Like you say, put you in the room with the decision makers, the people that
Yeah,
can say yes, not the gatekeeper, not the people that are blocking your access to opportunities, but the people that want what you have or want what we have to offer and are going to
yeah,
willing to sign that check and say yes, let's do it. But then also, you're right. I don't need people on my same level of struggle. I need people that are on another level doing well, so that I can see that and be around that and make sure that I'm constantly growing and not just being around people who are also struggling, thriving, and barely making it. It's like you become your environment. So you have to be able to, if you want to change, your mindset is good, but you also got to change that environment and the people you're around. So we
oh,
need an
but
elevated network.
but see too that there's also like there's the challenge in that as well, right? Because yeah, people do talk about like you want to be people around people who are like you or better, but then you
Mhm.
also have some people who are better that are like, I'm not associating with that riffraff down there. You're not about to drag me down. So I feel like there's also there's some other kind of things that like are connected with that. And even like when I was thinking about like where I could improve in showing up for others, I don't know if it's necessarily an indictment on me personally, but I realize that there are some people I can't reciprocate support towards right now because of my circumstances. I don't have the luxury of time and energy because I still have the heavy burden of trying to establish steady income. And
Mm.
until that is sorted out, like I can't really socialize or put myself out there or say yes to all the things because a lot of things are
Cost.
paywalled.
They
Like,
cost. Yeah.
and then you think about that, it's like, again, it's just all these things that are self perpetuating why you can't get into the proper rooms or why you can't connect with the right people. Like,
Mhm.
it's just all these dual edged swords, and having that recognition that I don't know that we talk about enough, or what does it look
Mhm.
like when you absolutely do need support and you want to reciprocate, but you don't necessarily have all the means to do that the way that you would like to. And then how that can end up, how then that ends up kind of pushing you down further, right?
Mhm. No, I think you're honest. Like I'm in a couple of huge social, groups and networks where, I'm part of Jack and Jill, and that is a very, affluent, successful Black families, Black women, but everybody in there is not always thriving. When I get to talk to moms and fathers and partners, I'm finding that some of them have also been laid off. Some of them are also going through these transitions. So it may look glitz and glamorous and that everybody's just affluent and thriving, but there are still, even within those very successful circles, there are people going through these things. And I think if you're open, you build those
Yeah.
relationships and you talk, that's where they understand, hey, I know you're not able to give in this way, but this is what I
Yeah.
can do, right? I may not be
Yeah.
able to give you money, but I have a space you can use, or I have a workshop I can do for free. Or so there's things that you can do in kind that are worth more than the money, and that are still
Yeah.
helpful. And also, when it goes to the people, if you have someone that says, well, I'm sorry, I'm not associating with those riffraff, that's not the network person that you need that's going to help
True.
get you in that room. That's
Yeah.
that's not who you need. What you need is you need someone that's in that group that sees your potential and is like, I got you. I know who to introduce you to. And they walk you in that room and they walk you into that room with that decision maker, or they do that introduction email. That's the type
Yeah.
of support that I'm talking about. But you were correct. I'm I have a lot of social capital, and I'm not going to just introduce anybody to the people that I've earned, that I have that social capital with, because I earned those relationships. And it only takes one person
Yeah.
to mess them up. So if you're asking someone to allow you to borrow their social capital to be in that network, you got to make
Yeah.
sure that one, you have the relationship to ask for it, and they got to trust that you're not going to abuse that relationship, because it only takes one time to mess that up, and then you've messed up that
Yeah.
relationship for them, and probably your relationship with them is going to be damaged too, because you've now messed up that social capital that they have, and that's hard to get. So it is
You
a,
know?
again, it's a give
Yeah.
and a take, and it's filling people out. And it's really, before you're asking, you're really making sure that you're showing up the right way, so that ask is worth it, and it's going to be something beneficial. And most of the time, they're going to see you, and they're going to be the one that says, "I know who you need to meet. Let me introduce you to someone. Let me
Can I
open this door for you." Right?
can
And you've
I
had that. You just
testify?
recently
I was
had
gonna
that.
say I
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
testify because I was thinking about it like, so of course, last week I had a major presentation for Culture
Okay.
Roots
Yeah. Yeah.
that it was a big moment.
Mhm.
And I was present in that moment, but there was something that I realized, oh, I kind of forgot about. So, like,
Mhm.
when I was talking in the room, like, I made sure to give the kudos and the flowers to the woman who was responsible for me being a presenter. But then I
Yes.
was thinking about it the other day, like, wait a minute, no, I got to walk it back just a little bit further because there was another woman
Mm.
who had actually sent the invite to me to it's the American Society of Public Administration. She
Mm.
had literally just sent me the invite information last October. It was in October. And
Mhm.
then I went to that, and then I met this woman and other women who work for the state and who are just, oh, they're just amazing humans, right? So I realized, whoa, like there were these different seeds that were planted of
Mhm.
women who absolutely provide informational and
Mhm.
tangible support. And
Yeah. And
the
open that
woman
door
who
for you.
literally opened that door for me, and then the woman, I'm gonna say her name, Janae. So first was Jai, and
Mm.
then Janae, like she is just so incredible because I met with her 2 days ago to just kind of like recap. So how did that feel for you, like after the presentation? And I had to tell her, like, you really do walk the talk
Oh.
because she has made it a point to continue inviting me to things with that express intention of getting me in the room, getting me in front of the right people, to the point where when I walked into that room and just before presenting, there was someone who walked in and said, I have been so excited. You have no idea how much I have been wanting to finally meet you. I've been following you. I've been all over your website. I was like, oh my gosh, like that is so incredible. So I just have to testify, like, as much as there may be lack or limitations with my circumstances, I cannot, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the blessings and the luck and the beauty and the
Mhm.
joy that organically has been happening from
Mhm.
these seeds that are being planted.
Yes, I do. I'm thank you for saying that because I was like, you've had so many moments where people were just opening the door. Also, the books when we sold the 200 books for
Yes.
the workshop, that conference, that was a door that got opened, and it was you at the the workshop you were at going up and people seeing the book and asking about it, and all of a sudden she said, "Wait a minute." I need this. This book needs to be in
Yes.
the little giveaways that we're giving to the conference people. 200 books,
Yeah.
the largest sale that we've had so far, and it was somebody opening that door. And we still don't know, out of all those 200 people that got those books, we still don't
Yeah.
know what doors that's going to open. And I do feel like that's still coming around to us. We just don't know where yet. So you
Yeah.
just never know the little things that you do that open those doors and create those opportunities. So we just got to keep working our magic and being us because they are
Absolutely.
opening. But yeah, that is it. That's very true.
And so, yeah, like again, this has been just that continued embodiment of the four types of support. So,
Yeah.
we talk about in our book the four types of support. They are emotional, esteem, informational, tangible support.
Mhm.
And I feel like, but I also do feel like naturally, like the emotional and the esteem support, like, yes, girl, like I feel
Mhm.
like that is a little bit, can be a little bit easier. And of course, emotional support comes with emotional intelligence and emotional maturity and being able to
Yeah.
provide safety and a
Yeah.
safe space, and removing your ego from, removing your ego so that you can
Mhm.
properly like listen to
Yeah.
people in the way that you need to listen to them. But like thinking about those four types of support, um, yeah, which one do you feel like you're lacking in right now? And I think you may have kind of somewhat started answering it, but
Yeah, I already it's the tangible. It's people that can
yeah,
really open those doors. The one that I am feel so blessed to have and so lucky to have, I have a lot of informational esteem and emotional support. I've got you, I've got my
yeah,
girlfriends. Like when I told them about, going through kind of being getting separated and kind of ending the marriage, they immediately were like, "How are you? Are you okay?"
yeah,
And I was just like, I love y'all. Like I love y'all.
yeah,
And then you, Shy, asking me, hey, slow down. Have you taken a moment to process this? Have you taken a
yeah,
moment to cry and to grieve? And I was like, no, I actually haven't. And you were like, you need to do that, right? And so
yeah,
I've got amazing people in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. But it took a long time. I didn't find those folks till I was in my 40s. So for all
yeah,
the rest of that time up until then, it was really me handling that stuff myself. But I'm so happy that I've got you, I've got my friends, I've got all of those amazing support. But right now, more than anything, it's just really people that can open those doors for me, that are willing to allow me to use that social capital and say, this is someone you need to meet. She's amazing. Look at what she's working on. Hear her out, and
yeah.
write that check. Get us in the room. That's what I need, what we need, I think, most of us, because we're
And
working on
that's
some
what
really amazing projects. You've got Culture Roots, we've got Savvy Wisdom, we've got some really amazing things that we're offering. We just need someone to write the check. One will not write a check, but let us in the room. Because once you hear what we have, it's a no brainer. You're going to
it's a
say yes.
wrap.
But
But it's
we
so
need
funny.
opportunities.
'Cause on the, like, expanding my network on answering the question, "What do you currently need?" Like, I didn't even
Yeah.
write a whole, like, paragraph. I put, "People with access to capital and resources."
Basically, that's what we need right now because that's what a
Yeah.
lot of people are lacking right now in this, again, in this season of deficit and lack. That's what a lot of people are lacking because they're getting laid off and they may be working, but they're underpaid, right? They're not getting paid what they need to be making, based on what they used to
Yeah.
have from whatever job they got laid off on. So they're working, but they're not making enough money to still kind of handle and sustain their lifestyle. So we're going through a lot. Thinking about this kind of goes to our community call today too, because we had an
Yeah.
amazing, very beautiful community call today with one of our visionaries and just really beautiful soul going through a lot of transitions. And I wanted to ask you, Shy,
Yeah.
um, if what's one thing from the community call that you didn't either expect or that just really stood out to you that you were just like, I'm taking that with me. That is a moment I'm going to take that with me.
Mm. I would definitely say, well, I may have somewhat touched upon it, but reciprocity.
Mhm.
Definitely reciprocity. But another part, like something that stood out to me, like I'm in a unique space where I get to be a witness in real time and in real life to you as the human behind it, and
Yeah,
then our visionaries who are the humans behind it. So it was
yeah,
like it was kind of surreal, to be honest, to be talking to someone sharing all the things from her perspective, where like she allowed herself to be vulnerable,
yeah,
and she literally leapt took a leap of faith to reach out to me in her time of need. And it was like, okay, this is not what I had on my bingo card for today, but I just immediately just went into like did what it was that I needed to do. And
yeah,
then her sharing with me how much like she appreciated that. I'm pretty in tune with things, but it's like, yeah, having being able to have her like express that. And then me literally last week turning around and reaching out to her in my moment of need, and just I don't know, it was just so beautiful, like just the beauty. I think the
mhm,
beauty of vulnerability and reciprocity
yeah,
is probably like maybe one of the biggest takeaways for me. Like we had just such a I really enjoyed that conversation that we just had.
yeah.
Um
It's beautiful.
and the level of emotional maturity, like it makes me so excited to see that like it's doing what it's supposed to do, cuz
Yeah.
she was even saying as she's reading this book, she's literally thinking about her children and
Mhm.
how having these recognitions within herself, and how her doing the work is also going to help model healthy behavior for them. So it's like this
Yeah.
is so surreal and such a trip, because we
Mhm.
knew that we wanted to make an impact, we know we wanted to improve our own lives, but again, we truly have no grasp on just how much these seeds being planted are
Mhm.
actually impacting the world around us.
Yeah. That's one thing. Those are two. I took away two things too. That was just how she said, I'm reading this and these tools, it's helping. I'm going to pass it to my daughters because it's going to help
Yeah.
them, give them those tools. But my sons, it's also going to help them see what this should, what this healthy behavior should look like. And I said, that is beautiful. Another thing she said, which made me think about support systems, is she said
Yeah.
the thing about envy, right? A long
Mm.
time ago, she said a couple years ago, I would have seen what you all were doing with the podcast and the books, and I would have been envious. And now, to
Yeah.
going fast forward, I don't look at that. If I see something and I see, like she said, if I see something out there and I feel envious or jealous of it, I go back internally and say, well, what is it about this that I am envious or jealous of? Because that
Yeah.
might be her just saying, you know what? If they did it, I can do this too. I can do something as
Yeah.
well. And I love that she said that because there are so many times as women, what stops us from building really great support systems is the messiness and cattiness and jealousy and competition that comes between women, and it stops the relationship. Because if you are
Yeah.
competing against somebody, you cannot support them, because you're always trying to make sure that you're one upping them and that they're behind you and you're in front, and that's not support, right? And so when she said that, I said, that is beautiful. I said, because that means
Yeah.
that instead of, she said, instead of being envious, you find ways to support that and be part of it, right?
And
And then
she
find
is.
ways, and she is supporting and being part of it. And I'm just like, that is beautiful. So I think that spirit of envy and competition, that cannot be part of a healthy support group. So if you have that in your friend group or in your support group, that's not going to last, because
Yes.
it's not going to manifest the positive stuff. It's going to manifest all the negative energy that is going to end up eventually tearing that support network down and making it really unhealthy. So look out for that in your, really make sure that the
Yeah.
people are on team you. They are for you. They want the best for you. They check in on you. And when you need help, they don't disappear. Even if they can't help you, they'll say, hey, I can't do this, but I can do this, right? But they check on you. And, or I know someone that can do something, right? But they're there. They don't
Yes.
just disappear. And they
I
don't make you
love
feel
that.
bad for being in your not great season, right? And so your season of
You know
lack, or
what?
right.
I
Mhm.
appreciate that because it makes me think about, yeah, our section on spotting unhealthy support systems. And
Yeah.
so again, that's just as much a big part of it. And I'm telling you, like, when I tell you I have no appetite for the spirit of jealousy, envy, competition, negativity up in my like energy fit. Like when I tell you I ain't got it, I really ain't got it. As soon as I get a whiff of that, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
ha- and I and I have to be relentless about protecting my space and protecting my peace again because of how I've no maybe not maybe careless isn't the word, but I think it was I don't think I fully understood that that actually wasn't normal and wasn't right and wasn't necessary. Like again,
Yeah.
depending on how soon you see those types of examples or how close those types of people are to you, you
Mhm.
really can like think that this is something that you're just this is what like comes with being human. No, it's actually not, and you don't have to put up with that.
You don't.
um
You
so
don't.
I love that. I would
Mhm.
ask you, in kind of thinking about if a listener realizes today
Mhm.
that their support system has a hole in it,
Mhm.
what is the first move you think they should make?
You really got to take inventory of what you need and go from there. If you're looking through the types of support, emotional, esteem, informational, tangible, and you find that maybe the people you placed in those spots really aren't able to give you that support that you need, you got to back off and say, okay, is there anyone around that could actually give me that support that I need? And if not, take inventory and start looking at where you can have it. And if you don't have anybody, you're going to have to internally try to give that to yourself the best that you can, and then do the work on finding someone else that can. And there might be some people in your support group that can play multiple roles. I have a couple of people in my friend group that are like, they can be all four, right? And depending on the
Yeah.
situation, they can be it, right? And if you're lucky, you have those, and you contact that. But you won't know where the gaps in your support system are until you start asking yourself these questions and really taking inventory of the people in your support group, where they
Yeah.
are, where you've placed them, how they show up for you, how you show up for them, and then where that gap is. Then you take inventory and go from there. But you got to do
And
that
a,
work.
and a little bit of a plug because you could do that on your own, but you could also do that. We got a whole
Get the
container
book. You
for
have the book.
it.
You got the workbook. So it's going to guide you through asking these questions and these prompts and
Yeah.
doing that work for yourself. And that's going to help you
Yeah.
find those people and bring those people to you that you really need in your life. Yep.
And I would say, like, I know we are in month two of again this really
Yeah.
focused re-embodiment of these core themes that we talk about. So there is still time to get the book and the workbook
Yeah.
and to also join us in this journey. We do our internal community call every month on the third Saturday of the month. And I was just looking, these months, the way that they're kind of starting it does make it a little bit funny, but for the month of August, our visionary exchange call is going to be on Saturday, August 15th. So keep that in mind. You can join our community at app.savvywisdom.com. And once
Yeah.
you're in, you will get access to our events and getting this on your calendar. And yeah. And what I'm also excited about is, again, we're laying that groundwork and from taking that time of starting with putting that cape down, realizing all the things that came up with that, focusing and honing in on who we have, who is actually in our corner now,
Yeah.
and how we're showing up to the people who are in our corner. And it's already been pulling up some things for me, kind of to preview what's coming up next with looking at support systems.
Self care. It's going to be looking at self
Support,
care.
girl. Yeah, self care.
Right. So, and that's really important because you can't
Yes.
get to self care until you take off the cape and you realize you stop holding on to things that are no longer yours to carry. And then you
Yeah.
get the support around you to help you carry the load and have someone to lean on when you can't be strong.
I'm going.
Again,
Yes.
take
I
care
was,
of yourself, right?
yeah.
Because
I was
life
like,
is
do you need me to
very
talk? Do you need some
self
water,
care.
girl? I'm going. Look. I'm going.
I'm getting over being sick, so I'm like, it's you got
Yes. No, no, like,
the
yes,
self
get
care is
get your
important.
water.
Yeah, the
Yes,
self care is
because
important.
that was something yeah, that was something that I realized even, yeah, just this month of like, oh my gosh, like I put all this energy, I expounded all this energy, and what it made me realize was my stamina and my endurance, it has just been so shot again, because we don't talk enough about what it looks like to have extended, to be in extended survival mode, to be in extended to be under extended psychological, economic, social economics, uh,
The
stress and
stress where
trauma
you're
and
not taking
all
care
the,
of
and
yourself.
warfare, all of,
Hmm.
just like literally like all of that. So it literally brought up for me like, ooh, that's why I'm so glad that next month is self-care,
Yeah,
because I keep finding myself like um expounding all this energy, and then I'm literally down for the count for like 2 business days, like, oh, like even if I wanted to, I can't, because I just I did too
yeah,
much. And
yeah.
so I'm
We
looking
have
forward to
to.
that.
Yeah, and we can't pour from empty cup, right? So we can only take care of others the way we take care of ourselves. So we have to be able to, at the end of the day, even if you have a busy 40-hour week, you got to find some amount of time in there, whether it's 10 minutes, it's 15 minutes, it's an hour, or you get the luxury of a whole day where you are there and sitting with yourself doing something just for you. And you need
Yeah.
that time, because if not, we will exhaust and overwork ourselves to the point where we have nothing left to give. And so we don't want to get that way. But we're going to talk all about that next month. If you're reading along with us,
Yes.
please do the exercises, read the chapter. Those exercises are going to give you, there's a really neat, like 30-day kind of self care kind of chart where you can pick some things to do from that. We're going to do them. We're going to tell you how they go, but
Yeah.
have some fun, do that, and pour back into yourself because you deserve it,
Yes.
right? The work will be there, but you will not if you don't take care of yourself. And so, thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us as always. And
Absolutely.
look forward to you next month joining us, and share, like, follow, subscribe, all of those things, because we
Yes.
wrote this for you. These tools and truth we wrote them for you, and we want to share them. So the more the merrier. You're always welcome. So thank you.
Yay.